Hi. Okay. So I was in the middle of writing my story, right? I was writing a scene, and in that scene, there's a character that licks their teeth. You know, when you like take it, you like sweep the front of the front of your top teeth with your tongue, like, no? Okay. So I just wanted to check to make sure that if a reader saw that and didn't know what I was talking about, they could like look up what it was, what I was talking about, if in case if they were confused for some reason. And so I looked up what does it mean to lick one's teeth, just in case they saw that phrase and had never seen it before or something. And I came across like one of the first five results was a Justanswer thread. So Justanswer is an online service where you can connect to professionals or experts in certain fields such as psychiatry or lawyering or whatever, legal advice. Honestly, I think they're about as good as a Google search, and you don't have to pay a monthly fee for the service, so that's just what I think. But this question here was just so it was a lot, so I wasn't expecting for it to be this is a saga of someone spiraling into madness, or maybe they were already mad. This was this person is you are about to see such vitriol from one person to someone that may not even think about them on a regular basis. And like, I'm a vengeful person, I'll admit that, okay? I've hated people in my life. I don't think that I've felt this vitriolic towards someone that doesn't really know that I exist. Well, except for like political figures, I suppose. But oh my god, this is a lot. Okay, so just to start it out, new question. What does the body language of licking front teeth a lot using tongue with mouth closed say about a person? And then, you know, the doctor, the psychiatrist, or whatever, I don't even know. I don't fully trust these sources, so she might not even be a doctor. I don't know. You know, she introduces herself and is like, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about what's going on? The customer goes very sternly, it is exactly as I described. It happens a lot, and that is how she does it. And so the mental health professional answers that, you know, when you're looking at body language, context can, I'm just gonna read it. So when it comes to interpreting body language, context can be very important. For example, a person who crosses their arms in front of their body may indicate that they are closed off, or that it could seem that they are cold. So she's just describing, like, you know, basic stuff like, hey, you know, you need a little more information than the gesture itself. Standing alone, it doesn't really mean much, but if you give it context, it will mean something else. And the person responds with, it happens a lot. What does feeling uncertain really means? Note, most people don't do this. I don't know about most people. I actually would reckon that like quite a few people do it, and maybe they don't realize it. Maybe it's like a compulsion, or like a way to soothe oneself subconsciously. You might do it and you don't even know. So shut up. And, you know, the professional continues to explain, like, you know, everyone's different. They're gonna express themselves differently, you know, just that basic sort of thing. And then, you know, she also proposes that it could be a habit that someone unknowingly develops. And this is where I like seriously, my interest was piqued, and I wanted to continue to follow our protagonist down this rabbit hole. It is an unusual behavior, so that means it doesn't fall under different people behave differently, but just she behaved weirdly. Academically, what does licking front teeth mean? I think this person might be a little bit nuts. That was also like this moment like did a lot of stuff for me. It made me realize that this person might not like be like, you know, fully there, but for them to directly go, it is unusual, so what does it mean? And like trying to really like wring out answers from this person online. I don't know. Also, the doctor doesn't really sound like a doctor. It sounds like a robot, so it might be a robot. I don't know. What do you mean academically? Like, why do you have to know academically what it means? That's like if I was like, what does it mean academically if my dog came up to me, burped in my face, and then walked away? What does that mean academically? There is no academically about it. I just can't get over it. It is an unusual behavior. It seems to be a habit. If it happens all the time, perhaps this may be a strange behavior. Academically, it is related to feeling uncertain. Hope this helps. I think that's the one time that like a hope this helps has felt kind of genuine, but in this case I do wish it was backhanded because I really don't like this person asking the question, who proceeds to say, there is something deeper uncertain means, which is so vague. What are you saying? Again, the mental health professional is like, you know what? It depends. It really depends on the person. It could be related to this or that. Like, literally just regurgitating her answer because there's nothing else to say. And then I guess the customer, like, quotes insecurity or self-esteem or not trusting oneself. Exactly. I am pretty sure you see what kind of people are like this now. And then the mental health professional just goes, yes. I don't think they actually know what they mean by that, but and the customer goes, what kind? It's like for validation. They just want to be validated. Like, yes, this person is a bad person. Tell me that they're a bad person so I don't feel crazy. Mental health professional says, please explain your question more. Customer says, you said yes. What kind of people are like this now? I don't know what they mean by now. Like, or is it now as in like, tell me now? Oh my god. How insufferable. Mental health professional again regurgitates her answer. Unfortunately, I can't give you unfortunately. Oh, maybe it is a person. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't give you a definition of these people because each person is different, you know? Basic, like, you know, you learn this in grade school and, like, the first year. Just explaining that you can't apply one characteristic to a bunch of different people and assume that they're the same kind of person. And again, the customer highlights insecurity or self-esteem or not trusting oneself and says, this clearly defined one type of people and I am pretty sure you know what type that is. Again, they want that validation so badly. They want someone else to hate this person that they hate so much. Mental health professional says, again, regurgitates the answer. I feel like I've said that too many times already. And then finishes off with, there is no single person or type of person this applies to. And then the customer says, this clearly defines people with mental health issues. Which, you know, is not a cool thing to say. Honestly though, takes one to know one. So, mental health professional says, yeah, having low self-esteem can have something to do with your behavior. But not every person with low self-esteem has mental health issues. Customer says, I don't know, but it seems those as you described usually are the ones with mental health issues. As if the customer isn't someone with mental health issues. I'm sorry, that was a bit mean, but like, I don't think a fully lucid person would partake in this. You know what I'm saying? Mental health professional just like backs up and agrees. Like, it's like, it can often be the case. Customer goes, there you go. You just are afraid to admit it's Meghan Markle does the tongue licking teeth thing a lot as well. So bringing like, you know, people in positions of power into it. Classic, like, possibly losing their mind kind of situation. And we already know her mental health issues. It is no joke or attack that she is a narcissist. Look at how she's alienated Harry from the royal family. And the mental health professional is just like, there are no absolutes, blah, blah. Customer goes on and like, acts as if they didn't hear her at all. Now I already witnessed or fall prey of her toxins. Just want to see if the tongue licking is related. I don't know if they're talking about Meghan Markle or this girl that they're like fuming over. Probably both. Probably the girl actually, but you know. Professional says if something feels uncomfortable about a person, it is often a good idea to give yourself space from that person. Customer says she is sweet and appreciative in public. What a super's deceptions and a mask. That sweetness is exactly the sign of facade. So everyone, if anyone is ever sweet to you ever, it's a sign of facade. Stay safe out there. So the professional is like, hey, so we've kind of strayed away from the topic. Let's ask a new question on another forum or another thread. The customer, I don't know what they mean by LOL, you have an answer for that? Is it more about adjusting ourselves? And like the professional's like, yeah, the only control that we have is over ourselves. And you know what is best for you, blah, blah, blah. Customer says, it would be nice to have a way that will change them, especially in terms of their consequences. So I don't know if they mean like they want what's coming to them to be changed because like they think that maybe nothing will be coming to them, or like they want their consequences to change them fundamentally as a person. Like, this is a really vengeful person. And wouldn't you love to find out what horrible thing this girl did to this person. Professional's like, I don't know how to help with this. And the person goes on and is like, I mean, what can we do to get their consequences they deserve? Professional's like, I can't answer that. That is outside my realm of expertise. I can't help you. And now we get the tragic backstory. Now I can tell you what she has done to me, so maybe you have a better picture of this person. 1. In a class when teacher assigned 2 partners together to learn about each other, and the goal is to memorize as much about the other person's life facts, then share in front of the entire class about the partner's life. So it's an exercise where it's like you listen to someone and you're probably like retelling their life to an audience, it sounds like. As I stupidly tried to memorize everything and felt proud of myself as I did it, she simply striked out all the more glory details of my life, lol, to make me look less interesting. Oh my god. I don't know what about this. It's sad, you know, like, how did this person... Now, it sounds like they may be in high school or something, right? Spoiler alert, this is not a high school student. You will find out later that this is in a college or university setting. So I'm wondering how they got up to university and, you know, went through life, like, feeling vengeance over anybody who, like, they must be... So you know how they called Meghan Markle a narcissist? I'm not a mental health professional, but for someone to be so obsessed with, like, you downplayed all the glorious moments in my life, and they were probably telling their life story to this person that they had just met in class, and to be so deeply offended that they didn't feel fully represented or, like, praised through the presentation. This is so nutty to me. I don't know. It's not like, I don't know, it was for a class. It was a little exercise. Anyway, going on. I instantly felt quite out of balance instinctively, which means something is wrong. Likely there is toxin in manipulations. She even asked me if she remembered everything once we are back in private from the class again. This instantly sold her off that she did it intentionally. It is her overcompensating by asking if she did it right. So to me, it sounds like this girl was like, hey, do you think I did okay? Or like genuinely not, like, obviously, like, she's not gonna remember everything. You probably had like a couple of minutes to prepare for this, right? And she's like, oh no, I'm sorry if it like didn't come out right or whatever. Like, I was nervous, like, it's public speaking, you know? I reckon this is a public speaking class. So I really feel for this girl that this person is talking about. Like, oh my god, to be so severely targeted for something like that. Professional is like, it sounds like a difficult person to have to work with, and I am sure this felt very uncomfortable. And that's it. What comes next? I already know what a cunt she is, but I am not sure. Of course. I feel like a man wrote this, I'm sorry. Till the next class with her eye glaze and jealousy looks of my full body outfit. Then I noticed her observing my behaviors on class so she can learn or more precisely steal from me. Another toxic traits of stalking thief. Her jealousy stares when I did well in class. Then I see her stalking the dying worked in her way as she has improved her performance as well. And then I noticed her signature Meghan Markle tongue licking. Teeth licking. You don't lick your tongue. Well, actually, you could fold your tongue on itself and then lick your own tongue with your tongue, but that's besides the point. I know that's not what you meant. The professional's like, it sounds like you're holding a lot of anger toward this person. But I don't like that she feeds into the idea that, like, this girl is toxic and stuff. I'm pretty sure this guy starts imagining things literally because this girl didn't fully represent all the glorious wins of his life. He goes on, he's like, one day I was after her to enter the classroom. She made sure to wait and open the door for me. Hey, everyone sees the gesture as good, as so good PR and facade maintenance. PR? Public relations? This girl's in university with you, that's it. Then later I accidentally turned around and my eyes accidentally called upon her. She gave me a hate stare, not looking at me. I am sure she didn't mean to show that, to me, but it just happened naturally because that is her state, her body language giving her out. This person is, like, word salading really hard. Again, another hint that maybe this person is not all there. The professional is just, like, avoidant. It is like, hey, you could ask another question at this link over here. We've kind of strayed away from the original question. And the customer's like, P.S. Under the Zoom camera, facial expressions are more obvious. I noticed most other students look pure in their look under the cam. Pure? That's how you look at people. You you're so pure, like. Yet hers is quite a femme fatale kind of eye blinking and facial. Although I don't feel sexy, but rather how cunning and tricky this person is, since I already know her. Know her from maybe the minute and a half she took to tell you a bit about her life so that you could perform a public speaking exercise. Would you say she is a narcissist? Sociopath? No way to stop their stalking? And then they quote something that the professional says: nothing drives a person like this crazier than a confident, happy, secure person who doesn't fall for their toxic games. Someone who is above it all. And in reply they say, so they know they are toxic and attacking others? If they are hoping it drives others crazy. Again, this person's losing it, like mid-text. Again, I don't really know what, some people do prey on others' downfall. This is not that kind of situation. The professional begs with this person, please accept additional Q&A time to continue as this is a new topic. Again, the customer pushes, would you say she is a narcissist sociopath? This is the original question. One place says that licking could mean duper's delight. Do you see duper's delight? Duper's delight. That's not a phrase that I had known of before this. Duping delight occurs when successful liars get away with a lie and become delighted by their accomplishment. This is from the Paul Ekman group. I don't know which she's lied about. This girl that he's talking about, probably just like he thinks that she has this kind of facade and he's just so deeply offended and cannot get over the fact that she didn't get all the details of his life right in like a probably 2 or 3 minute speech. Licking your teeth is usually seen as a sign of aggression, since teeth are a primitive weapon that we use when threatened. It can happen right before a fight or if someone enters your comfortable space without permission. Read more at and then they've dropped a link. Brother, so why are you asking what it means then, if you know so much about what it means? You've answered your original question by yourself by doing a Google search. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true. You're thinking way too, like, I don't know. I don't usually tell people that they're like reaching or they're looking too deeply into things because I don't believe in that sentiment. Usually when people are like, it's not that deep, it is that deep. They just don't want to think critically about something. But it was an honest mistake, it seemed like. The professional is like, duper's delight or satisfaction at probably deceiving others does not have to lick one's own teeth as a symptom of this condition. It's not really so much a condition as it is a phenomenon. Again, the customer pushes, do you think she is narcissist or sociopath? Regardless, this body language is no good and not by the healthy people. So again, he's like implying that this is an unwell person and they need to be watched and hated and all the bad things must happen to them. The professional is like, hey, so it takes a really long time actually to diagnose someone as a sociopath or a narcissist. And the customer goes, I am not talking about diagnosis. You are talking about diagnosis. I am asked what she sounds like most. There is no denial. It is apparent a pathetic body language. They might have meant apathetic, or maybe they did mean pathetic. Yeah, they would call this girl pathetic. Most likely. Especially with no denial. Most likely. Especially with everything already discussed. You are simply trying to find that 5% of the case when it is not pathetic. But let's just be honest. We know it. This is largely a sick signal. Don't agree with him. Oh, the professional's like, I agree with you. And she's like, sure, yeah, whatever, it's likely. I think she's just given up at this point. She's like, fucking okay. The customer's like, she is likely antisocial? P.S. Histrionics and bipolar are also toxic. Shut the fuck up. You're not a mental health professional. Also, not everybody with histrionic personality disorder and bipolar disorder are toxic. One of my very good friends is bipolar. I've been diagnosed as bipolar. I wouldn't call myself a toxic person. If you think I'm toxic, let me know in the comments. Maybe this whole video is making me look toxic, but I'm just bewildered by all of this. People are gonna be like, oh, they're making fun of a mentally ill person on the internet. No, I'm not making fun of them. I'm just fine. Sue me. And then the professional goes on and is like, it could be social anxiety. Customer's like, there is much more tricks and antisocial toxins with her, as I also described previously. Anxiety is just her low-end feature, but she is much more malicious than that. You have too much sympathy for the wrong/bad. It might not be a good thing to have. there should be a distinction of attitude towards the wrong versus the good. So I understand where this person is coming from. Honestly, I, at some point in my life, probably would have related to this sentiment. Yes, I do wish that people who did wrong would actually have consequences come to them. As you know, especially if you live in a certain country where corruption is rampant, that there are some really disgusting, evil people getting away with really, really bad things. And nothing's gonna happen to them, and it sucks. But this was a girl that listened to your life story in the span of a few minutes and then had to speak to an audience of whoever's in your class about it. She wasn't, like, dismantling your presidential campaign. And if you felt like she did, I fear that you may be putting a little too much weight into every menial moment in your life. I'm sorry if that comes out a little bit cold. But yeah, he just starts lashing out at the professional and it's like, you're part of the problem. You're why she isn't being punished right now. The professional goes on, is like, actually, this is very interesting. I don't know. This was totally like, she's done. She goes, can you explain what kind of retribution you think would be fair, or just knowing that she is wrong, bad, evil, and malicious? Now that you have recognized these toxic and unhealthy traits in her, what would you like to see as a desirable outcome? Which is a great question. It's like, what do you want me to do? Like, what do you want to happen? Like, the customer goes, retribution would be nice. Also, I did report her anonymously to the school. I'd wish to give her a hard slap, but I heard it is almost impossible to stop them. And now he wants to commit violence on this person that did absolutely probably nothing wrong and who is hallucinating, stalking, and watching him all the time. The professional goes, and informing the authorities, or even being able to get away with giving her a slap, do you think that would change her or make her see reason? Which is a good question. It's good to step back and be like, all right, so you've done the thing you want to do. Did it change anything? Did you win? Or would you win? The customer goes, I don't change her, lol. I make sure she gets what is coming back at her. I wonder how the school sees her creepy behaviors. My guy, you are the definition of creepy. Professional, so it's more about revenge or getting even and having others see her for what she is? Customer says, of course. She is entitled. What do you see with her femme fatale kind of Zoom cam facial magnification? That is quite the sequence of words. What does it say about her? Everyone else has a plain, naive face. Not me, nothing gets past me. They didn't write that at the end, but I did. I wrote it at the end for them. Professionals like, revenge isn't great. That's essentially the bulk of what this message is. And essentially the customer tells her that she doesn't seem to have taken this seriously, or like she doesn't know what it means, and goes on to say, whatever you just said only looks good on paper but won't work in real life. You have too much sympathy for the wrong/bad. It might not be a good thing to have. Again, like repeating the prior sentence. And then it gets absolutely insane here. It takes a turn for the bizarro. You must really mistaken that Jesus is right, but unfortunately what he said only works for him, but not anyone else. He is misleading everyone. If someone slaps my left face, I will turn my right face and let them slap as well. This will only work miserably and tragically in real life. Yes, you do have to fight back and revenge. That is how you save yourself. People don't say this because it looks bad on paper, especially they also don't understand what revenge means. But this is what works in real life. Oops. So this guy just got biblical. And then he goes, leftism won't work and is disastrous. There are some very dear people in my life that would get very fired up from that sentence. You revenge yourself all the time, but you don't realize because you think revenge means something else. I don't think I understand what this guy thinks revenge is. He's literally like, I don't know. I don't know why he would think anyone doesn't know what revenge really means. I think he means, like, the professional is like, the best revenge is living well, and he's like, no, it's retribution and Professional's like, revenge only begets more revenge. Sorry, my light died, so now I'm using my overhead light. Sorry for the lighting difference. How unprofessional of me. Anyway, they go back and forth and they're arguing about, like, he's like, you don't know what revenge is. I'm not gonna waste your time explaining what revenge is to you. You don't even have a basic understanding of what revenge is. And they go back and forth about that, and then he's like, what does her femme fatale kind of facial says about her? Which, like, again, what are you on about? The professional simply says, this question has now moved beyond the realm of the initial question. I would like to continue assisting you, but we've fully moved away from the original topic. And the customer ignores this and he goes, I wonder how you would feel and how do you see this person if someone intentionally stripes out better highlights of your bio story? How would you react it at the moment when it happens? He's like really hurt by this girl who really truly meant no wrong. And my favorite moment is here. Professional. This is a very difficult situation, and it's understandable that it is upsetting. I am sure most people who go through this would be upset. Customer says, okay. And then he goes, okay, just posted the question. This guy, like all 6 stalkers, managed to dramatically improve her skills through stalking and monitoring how I do things. What a duper. After harassled me, and yet still want to exploit for her own gains, and use that as if it is her own creations. And then the professional's like, you can report her to authorities. Customer admits that there is no crime. There is no crime. It is just passive, underhanded stalking and thefting, which are crimes, by the way. The hardest thing about the suck people is when you accused them, it sounds like they didn't really do anything or left any marks because they mastered the underhanded manipulations and behaviors. I think I'm gonna start using that. Well, I already say like, oh man, this is so suck. Like, I'll just say like that, but the suck people? You know what? U is next to I on the keyboard, so maybe they did mean sick people, but I think suck people is really funny. And again, the customer's like arguing back and forth with the professional. There's a little moment that I want to point out in this next reply. It is hard to report that she watched me closely in class and steal my acts. Like she was mimicking you or steal your acts? Hehe, no crime. Nor that if she stripe out better highlights of my bio. Again, the original sin. The professionals, like, do what you can to protect yourself and your belongings, and don't give her the benefit of seeing that she is influencing you and she will move on. You know, she'll get bored. The customer argues back. Unfortunately, absolutely not true. There is much to gain. Remember, they steal and exploit. And then, referring to the part in that big message from the professional where she recommends to report to the authorities, he goes, you think they care? No, they don't. It takes time, but eventually, which was just an unfinished thought, I suppose. He says, okay, pray for me, please, and this criminal get caught soon, even with people close to them. I can't stop her from observing me in class and steal whatever. But I learned she is planning to apply for a degree program at the school, so I will get her some PR with her glorious traits at the school. So, yeah, there you go. This is not a high or middle school. This is a college setting, which is, I really thought this was like a high schooler or something. I don't know. The professional says, you explain that this person is a criminal, which makes their actions punishable by law. But I don't think she realizes that this girl that he's talking about is not actually stealing anything or stalking him. Like, I reckon he's imagining things. And then she recommends going to a tech expert in protecting your content with various cybersecurity software. Customer argues back, underhanded actions are not probable. The best proof is her tongue-licking language. That is a surefire sign of toxicity and mental troubles. And then the customer highlights a part of the professional's previous message saying, she said bullies have bullied before. And then he says, at least in this class, I am probably the only target. Again, the self-centric narrative. Or her underhanded tricks go unnoticed by others who are usually unable to identify signals. And remember, she is unusually nicer than others. Most will take it at the surface value. Sorry, I cannot read what this person's saying. So again, the sort of personal fable that like, oh, everyone's watching me, just they never grew out of it. Or they're just, you know, heightened stress and anxiety from this little incident that happened. Professionals just is like, yep, the authorities have responsibility to open cases. You can get a restraining order if you have some proof, essentially is the bulk of that message. And the customer goes on saying, yesterday she played a little trick in class when presenting. People jokingly called her out, even say they loved the little manipulation. I don't know what he means by little manipulations. I don't know if he thinks like her making a joke in a presentation was like, oh, she manipulated them to laugh so that she'll be liked more when she shouldn't be liked more because she's evil. See how people take it as a joke than something underlying. You so naive. Do you know what corruption means? They won't do anything. And don't you know perpetrators often prevail by turning the table around and turn real victims into perpetrators while turn themselves into victims? Okay, yeah, that is true. I have seen that happen, but not here. The professional says, I understand how bullies work, having worked at a school for over a decade. I reckon maybe not a university kind of setting. I mean, because she's talking about bullies, like, you don't really have bullies at university. Not in the traditional sense. You might have people that, like, fucking hate you and, like, are losers, but, like, by then you guys are adults. I don't know. I just think that calling people that harass you in university bullies is a little diminutive, or minimizes the kind of impact that that would have on someone, because we're all adults, and, like, you know, I just feel like that's not the word you would use for someone that harasses you in a university setting or college setting. I don't know. The customer proceeds to explain, I have filed 5 reports, including 1 federal. Nothing happened, and it is a long time stalking. Enjoy the bureaucracy. Anyway, that's pretty much it. The mental health professional leaves a really long message about what you can do about bullies, and I think the funniest part of this message is, tell the bully to stop. Sometimes, if a child doesn't speak up when they are being bullied, the bullying will continue. And there's another part where it says, make a joke. Some kids are naturally funny and find it easy to laugh right along with a bully. So again, using the word child and kids when this person is probably not a child or kid. Anyway, the customer finally stopped responding after that. So that was just quite the ride. And I really wanted to take you guys with me through that. This person is obviously, like, not well. They were going through something. This was 3 years ago, so I hope that they're feeling a little better now. But oh my god. I thought I had a lot of rage and vitriol for people, but, like, never because someone left out some details about me that they just learned for a little presentation in a public speaking class. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. Again, I'm sorry for the lighting change, and also I had to keep it down at the end because the people that I live with are back. So I had to tone it down a little bit, but I really hope that you guys found that interesting. I don't usually make content like this, so hopefully this was okay. And yeah, sorry, a couple more things. Guy, if you're out there, she really truly didn't mean anything by it, I promise. I'm so certain she didn't mean anything by it. It's fine. You're fine. She's not stalking you. You're okay. You're safe. At the worst, she's just being a pest. She's not trying to dismantle you as a person. Second, if any of you ever feel like this about a person, if you truly feel like you're in danger, yes, do call the authorities. Have them do something about it. If you're in a school setting, tell an adult, someone that works there. And you know, often we get so caught up in ourselves, you know, we think that everyone's watching us, but everyone is thinking the same thing. They are too busy thinking about themselves to really think that much of other people, typically. So, that being said, again, thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.